Hi, Martin here. I'm talking about the cranial magnet, and for those of you that don't know what the cranial magnet actually is, it's a small electronic device which you plug to your ears, and it puts a small amount of electricity through your brain. It's not like electric shock treatment, it's completely different. The amount of voltage that it puts through into your brain is so small that it only adjusts your mental state slightly. And when I first discovered this, I was reading a biography of Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, and he and his wife, I can't remember her name, but she was the Beast of Burden, were coming off heroin, and they wanted to get off this heroin very quickly, and they both used a cranial magnet, and Keith Richards actually came off heroin within a few days when using this cranial magnet. And it was used in a rehab first of all, as an experiment, and it's a very useful device. And I was suffering from depression, so I was looking for a way of relieving it, and I also wanted to come off antidepressants and antipsychotics, which I'd been on for a number of years. And the thing about cranial magnet, it's just a small device that you plug to your ears. It reduces the withdrawal time from alcohol, and when they used it in the rehab, it was so successful that alcoholics were withdrawing from quite a large volume of alcohol so quickly that they would relapse, and so they didn't take up the use of the cranial magnet in the rehab for this reason. But in Europe, you can actually go into chemists, and they have the cranial magnets. You can purchase them over the counter, or even rent them, and you can sit in the chemist and use the cranial magnet. Here in Australia, it's very limited and very restricted, and I had to buy one from eBay. And I got a cranial magnet first of all from eBay. I think I've had two in my time. The first one I got from eBay, and the second one I bought from www.alteredstates.com. And so I experimented with this device, and I found it really helped me coming off the antidepressants, and when I would feel anxious or fearful because I was reducing the amount that I was taking of the medication, the cranial magnet, I would plug it to my ears, and I'd use it for 20 or 25 minutes, and it would help a lot. But you have to use it every day for at least half an hour for your brain to get on the right frequency for it to work, and then after 6 weeks you only need a tune-up of once or twice a week. If you're going through withdrawal from substance abuse, or if you're on antidepressants or antipsychotics, or you have other problems, then the treatment time can take longer, and the effect of it will be determined by your lifestyle and the way that you're living at the time. So Dr. Bob Beck was the guy that created the cranial magnet, although I think it was probably earlier. I think that if you looked at Tesla, you'd find the origins would be from Tesla. But Bob Beck was a guy that really commercialized the cranial magnet, and they've used electricity in the treatment of human beings since the 1800s, as far as I know. It goes back to Mesmer. But staying with the cranial magnet, I was doing the research on Keith Richards. I ended up buying a magnet, and I've used it on myself, and I used it to help my withdrawal. And the thing that I found when I was on it, that everything will become very crystal clear. The electricity, it's hard to describe the effect of it. It rocks the cradle, it rocks the hemispheres of the brain, it kind of rocks them together, and you feel a frequency, and it's like a very, very powerful form of meditation. And I'm not sure of the dosage of electricity. I think it's 1,000th of an amp. I'm not sure about that. I think it's 1 milliamp. It's a very, very small dose though, and it has frequencies. So the faster the circuit, the difference of the frequency, it cycles in hertz per second, and as you turn it onto a higher frequency, it cycles from 4 hertz per second to 5 to 7 to 10, and the cranial magnets vary in price, and they're quite expensive, and they start off at about $200, and I don't know why they should be so expensive. They're quite cheap to produce. They only cost about $5 or $10 to produce, but it's one of those things that no one's producing them, and the company's got the monopoly on it. So yeah, what else can I say about the cranial magnet? At the same time, I purchased a device. Before I managed to purchase a device, I also went to a hospital that was running a clinical trial on putting a small voltage of electricity in the brain. It was the same principle. This was called a direct current therapy, and but clipping the magnets to your ears, clipping the clips to your ears, it has the same effect. I mean, in the clinical trial they put electrodes on the sides of the brain, but it's basically the same principle. And so I know that the government and governments are really onto this in terms of mental health, and they're continually